We did that game, and I was just sitting there with my jaw on the floor.
Fingal, the free ball, middle of the floor. Can Tennessee terminate? They go to the middle, and it's put to the surface by Ava Bell, all-region honorable mention pick a year ago.
Tennessee was in a nice system there on the serve receive. They had a perfect pass, and you were going to see Natalie Hayward really force those middles to work for Tennessee because those are kill opportunities every time.
Hayward, the senior, one of the top setters in the SEC a year ago. Near side set, and a good swing this time from Reagan Cooper, the junior, and a Washington State transfer.
What a great swing by Reagan Cooper. She saw that Ava Bell wasn't able to close that middle block. She wasn't able to get to the outside with Fingal, and Cooper just took full advantage.
KJ.
Rotation player. She is focused, and she's adding offensive range to her game with a quicker tempo this season.
17 matches a year ago with 10-plus kills. She gets a lot of swings on the outside. Look at the differential between her and Felts at the bottom. Lily Felts, highly efficient.
937 attempts last season for Sanders. That was a shortened season, Watchang. I mean, what is going on here? So it's going to be fun on the outsides tonight with both of these girls.
Both preseason all-conference selections from a year ago. You mentioned that shortened season a year ago. Fall into the spring. Now a full regular season slate as we take a look at Tennessee leader Eve Rackham-Watt in her fourth season of program on the rise. 53 wins for her in her career, a team that reached the second round of the postseason back in 2018.
Also, Coach Eve thought last year she had a tournament team, and it was a shortened field, so Tennessee was on the outside looking in, but they returned all those players from the spring semester, so that's good news.
Returning every starter from a season ago, anchored by that senior right there, Lily Felts, the native of Knoxville and Bearden High School. Well, it's great to have fans back in attendance here at Thompson Bowling Arena. You take a look at Texas Tech's squad, led by Tony Greystone in his sixth season for the Red Raiders. And this is a Texas Tech team that, despite the fact that they played that shortened season, they only had their starters out there for 3 matches all of last season. That made it a challenge on top of everything else going on.
It sounded like a headache, Michael. It sounded like they were constantly tinkering. They didn't know who was in protocol, who was out, but they're settled now.
Samantha Sanders will start us off, the senior from Waco, Texas, a Texas A&M transfer, and we're underway here from TBA. Set comes to the middle, tapped over. A near side set, picked out of there by Felts as she continues to improve her defensive prowess. But an early swing from the outside, Brianna Runnels, the graduate transfer from Colorado State, hits it out of bounds, and Texas Tech takes the lead.
You saw a couple of passes there from Tennessee that were a little bit off the mark. Natalie Hayward really making it work, and you saw them multiple times go into that outside.
Texas Tech has played already in this Tennessee Classic. They swept East Tennessee State. Runnels takes another hack here. And a roll shot to the middle. Felts. Outside set, Runnels. This will hit the deck, and Runnels, her first career kill in the Big Orange after she averaged over 4 kills per set last year and had 1,400 of them for Colorado State throughout her career.
Yeah, she carried a big load for Colorado State, and Eve said, hey, you don't have to do quite as much here, and so she's really settling in nicely to her workload.
Hayward serves for the Lady Vols. Tapped over, tracked back by Felts. Now near side, left-handed hack this time around by Fingal, and she picks up where she left off last year. What a dynamic resurgence for her. Played 6 sets all of the fall, then led Lady Vols in 9 of the final 11 matches last year.
Also, in one match, she had 23 kills, and I'm pretty sure we did that game, and I was just sitting there with my jaw on the floor.
Fingal, the junior from Fairfax, Virginia, has Tennessee on top for the first time today. Free ball, middle of the floor. Can Tennessee terminate? They go to the middle, and it's put to the surface by Ava Bell, all-region honorable mention pick a year ago.
Tennessee was in a nice system there on the serve receive. They had a perfect pass, and you are going to see Natalie Hayward really force those middles to work for Tennessee because those are kill opportunities every time.
Hayward, the senior, one of the top setters in the SEC a year ago. Near side set, and a good swing this time from Reagan Cooper, the junior, and a Washington State transfer.
What a great swing by Reagan Cooper. She saw that Ava Bell wasn't able to close that middle block. She wasn't able to get to the outside with Fingal, and Cooper just took full advantage.
KJ Adams, the Grand Canyon transfer. She was the libero of the year in the WAC last year.
I don't know how they keep track of it all. It's a very transient world.
Especially with COVID and those extra years. Back row attack from Phelps, and she sticks it in the top of the tape, and a point for Texas Tech to tie it up at 3.
You'll notice this on Tennessee's side, and like we said on Texas Tech's side, always pay attention to where Lily Phelps is for Tennessee. Always pay attention to where Samantha Sanders is for Texas Tech.
Pass comes to Hayward. Right side, Runnels rejected, but picked up by Madison Bryant. Fingal, little tap shot, and she finds the surface. Second kill for Fingal. And Lady Falls back on top by a point.
How about that? The right side getting a kill on the left side. I like that she went up with a big, powerful swing and then saw a closed block in front of her, tipped it right over.
Runnels heads to the back row to serve. That's where Tennessee needs to improve, and that could be a difference in this match. Phelps off of the block.
Ooh, that's a free ball.
Very short, and it's spiked to the surface. Look at the awareness by Bell. Didn't want it to have one of those where it clips the tape and falls to the ground. She said, I'm going right after it.
She was very aggressive. That was a great move by Ava Bell, and you're right. She saw it coming over. She's like, I'm going to stop that.
Runnels on serve again, the knuckleballer. Kirby, near side, tapped. Good diving, one-hand pancake. Phelps trying to get the angle right. Couldn't quite do so as she double touches it, and the point to the Red Raiders.
That was a really great pancake dig by Natalie Hayward. She did an awesome job. The set was just a little errant. Lily Phelps tried to keep it in, but you saw the geometry was just off.
Already breaking out geometry. Did I have to bring my textbooks with me?
Your protractor only.
Kirby, the Knoxville native, serves. Outside, Lily Phelps puts it into the block, but it goes out of play. That was a heavy roof up top. Phelps had just enough power on it to make sure that it went out of bounds and give Tennessee a 2-point lead.
It's a nice job by Tennessee, staying in a rhythm, kind of finding themselves early on, not letting Texas Tech get on any sort of run.
Bryant, the junior, who took over the libero duties last year, serves. Back row attack off of the hands of Bryant. Good swing from the back row by Sanders.
Now they're coming into a powerful rotation here at Texas Tech. Samantha Sanders rotates to the front row. They are going to look for her a lot. They love that they're developing this trust, and she's developing a lot of leadership skills. So look for that to showcase while she's on the front row here.
It'll be a freshman in the back row, Maddie Correa, to serve. Hayward outside, Phelps. This ball will head over the net. Bryant right on the line. Back row attack. Runnels pulverizes it, but absorbed by Adams. Fingal out of bounds. Not a lot of miscues for Fingal. She had over 200 last year.
I don't know how high she just jumped, but if she would have had a basketball in her hands, I think she could have dunked it. That was so high. It was just a little long, and I got full trust in Morgan Fingal that she's going to find the inside of the line soon.
Tie matchup here. Fingal, another tap. Perfectly finessed over right in front of the 10-foot line.
I also like the trust factor right there from Natalie Hayward. Morgan Fingal had the rare hitting error just a second ago. What does Natalie Hayward do? She gets a perfect pass, throws it right back to her hitter, give her some extra confidence.
So Fingal to serve. Played 46 sets in the spring after just 6 in the first semester. Backside set, plucked out of there.
Nice dig. Ooh.
Basically a free ball here and a chance in transition. Sanders off of the block, goes out of bounds. Sanders' second kill, ties it up at 7.
That was a nice savvy hit by Sanders. She went up with a bigger swing and it kind of adjusted the arm follow through, and she was able to use that Tennessee block in front of her to her advantage.
Second team all Big 12 selection a year ago. Texas Tech on serve. Hayward, back row attack, Runnels off of a one-handed block in the middle of Carrington Jones. They're going to the back row with some sets. What do you think about that offensively early?
Hey, I absolutely love it. One thing that Coach Eve Rackham-Watt said is that, Brianna Runnels brings a lot of calm and confidence, a lot of maturity to the court, so she's a great option on the back row, too.
Kirby was able to save it. Mahaffey swatted over by Hayward. She had 43 kills in 75 sets last year, picks up her first in the 2021 season, making a 2-point lead.
I really liked that by Hayward. Setters love to get theirs too, Michael, and they love to throw a couple over just to keep you on your toes.
Kirby, backside set into the block. What a stifling effort from Runnels and Mahaffey.
That was excellent. Great job by Danielle Mahaffey on getting closed to Runnels. It was a huge wall. Great penetration with their arms over the net. There was nowhere for Texas Tech to go.
Largest lead early here for Tennessee. Sanders will try to put an end to that. She's stuffed. It hits the deck. Mahaffey anchors it with Hayward this time.
Mahaffey going back-to-back, 2 great blocks. She is working hard in the middle, making sure she gets outside, and great job by Natalie Hayward setting that block in the right spot.
Mahaffey nearly a block per set a year ago, and she has combined for 2 early. Kirby to the 10-foot line. This one ricochets off Mahaffey's hands. Runnels crushes it across the floor, and Tennessee surging here to go ahead by 5.
Runnels has her athleticism on full display. She's working hard in the blocking and defensive side of the ball, getting back to the 10-foot line and using a big approach to make sure that she's able to get that kill.
It's a 5-0 Tennessee run right now as they've taken a 12-7 lead here in the opening set, and they're spreading the wealth. We talked about the offensive options that they have to offer. 3 players have 2+, including Runnels and Fingal with 3 apiece here at the outset of this match. Opening set as we take a look at Tennessee's surge here right out of the gates. It's a very challenging schedule, but look at the offense so far. 10 kills to 3 for Texas Tech, but Coach Greystone talked about serve receive. That is what they are going to need to really work on, and when they get a good first pass, they can terminate it, but so far it's been tough sledding offensively.
Yeah, and one thing that Tennessee is definitely going to do, and this is just very par for the course for Coach Rackham-Watt in her tenure, they're going to serve really tough. She can put up with a few more service errors to make sure they're not only serving the right zones, but with the right caliber of serve, whether it's speed, whether it's one of those floater serves. So they're going to serve really tough, and it's got Texas Tech out of sync a little bit right now early on.
Well, for Tennessee last year, if you look at it, they had the 4th fewest service aces per set in the entire country. They had 8 times where they had 2 or fewer in an entire match. They had a dozen or more errors in the final 4 matches of the year. I know that's a lot to throw at you there, but serving isn't necessarily just those numbers. It's how hard you are able to make sure that your team, your opponent, isn't in system.
Absolutely.
To the middle, Mahaffey. Out of the timeout, Texas Tech trying to end this run. Tennessee has been scrappy and very powerful as Fingal does a great job from the 10-foot line to put it to the ground. That's 6 unanswered and the largest lead of the match so far for the Lady Vols.
When you look at Morgan Fingal, that's something that she's kind of added to her repertoire this year. She wasn't attacking too much from the back row, and I think she's just increased the trust level when the options are slim.
Sanders hits it out of play, 7 unanswered, and the pressure that is applied to Sanders. She has 6 swings already. That's already her 2nd miscue.
Yeah, she's having a little bit of a rough go of it. And right now, Texas Tech as a team is hitting 0. So that's going to be tough to win when you have those numbers.
Sanders this time does a good job of getting it off of the block to put an end to the scoring run, but Tennessee was able to open up a 14-7 lead at the time, and it's down to 6, but Texas Tech needs to go on a run.
Yeah, they absolutely need to go on a run, kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, kind of regain some control of this match, and they can do that through their serve.
Lindsay Dodson on serve. Pass comes into the middle, perfectly placed. Fingal! Look at her just soar through the air and punch it through the block.
Yeah, they basically had a full-on, they were in system. So they had at least 3 hitting options with Morgan Fingal there on the back row. That was going to be a kill no matter where Natalie Hayward decided to put it.
Ashlyn King, the freshman, they talked about her serving prowess, and she comes in here to serve with a 7-point lead. And her very first collegiate serve goes into the net.
And they're going to keep using her. You know, one thing that Coach Rackham Watt had said is that she's got a great serve. We're going to utilize her in spots. We don't know how much she's going to play offensively, but they are going to use that float serve to try and get teams off balance.
Tennessee's offense has lived up to the billing so far. 12 kills, hitting .409. Outside attack from Runnels. Good diving play from Adams. Kirby can't save it. And she went into the scorer's table on the far sideline, and it's a 7-point lead for Tennessee.
Tennessee's just really clicking right now. They are showing off those offensive weapons. When you look at it, you got multiple people that have kills. You got at least 5 people with a kill, including the setter, Natalie Hayward, who was on the front row that last rotation.
Here she is to serve. Stepping in front, Dotson. And Kirby tries to throw it through Tennessee's defense, but Ava Bell puts up a massive obstruction.
Ava Bell with great net awareness. Remember, she had that tip over earlier where she rejected Texas Tech trying to just dink it over the net and then playing great defense right there.
Hayward into the net this time around as Tennessee had just had its largest lead of the match. This is a phenomenal start so far for Tennessee in this match.
Yeah, it absolutely is, hitting .435, and Tennessee was 10-1 last season when they hit .250 or better, so that's a nice little windicator right there.
To the middle, Bell. Cross court, Bryant gobbles it up. Fingal. Overpass, Phelps does a good job to get back to it. Runnels across the floor. Overpass, Bell hits it out of bounds. Rare misfire from the Lady Vols.
It was a great job by Texas Tech of rallying. They just kept staying in it. They weren't really hitting the ball to get kills. They were just trying to keep it in play, and they did a nice job and ended up scoring.
Hayward, backside, Runnels hits the block, goes out of play. Runnels another kill as she impressed her what to start off her Tennessee career. 5 kills on 10 swings. Ball again, very shallow. Backside set, Fingal.
Took advantage of that solo block.
This one hits the hands of Fingal. Runnels does a good job to get there. Phelps. Kirby picks out the middle, and O'Brien. Now Cooper. Good sprawling effort from Bryant. Great play by Hayward off of the net. To the back row, Sanders. To the middle, and a rejection. What a great play by O'Brien on a back row attack from Runnels to get the block.
Man, Maddie O'Brien coming in big. And look at her. She got up and over. You see the nice penetration. She's tracking that ball the entire way and ends up just putting it back on Tennessee's side of the court.
Great solo block in the middle for O'Brien, who had won last season in 16 sets, so seeing an expanded role this year. Bell gets this one off of O'Brien's hands. Tapped over. Back row attack. Runnels. Whistle. Net violation on the front row on O'Brien, and a point for Tennessee as they inch closer to opening the season with a 1-0 win. Lead, rather. Tennessee hosting this Tennessee Classic for the 6th time. They're 17-0 all time. They've won 17 sets in a row since 2018. Been a dominating stretch. Phelps puts it in play. Very nifty and crafty by the senior.
Usually most coaching staffs are going to want you to stay on the ground and take that ball with both hands and put it in the center of the court to be a disruptor, but Lily Felts gets lucky and keeps that ball in play.
Perfectly placed by Lily Felts, who continues to improve every single year, one double-double away from the top 10 in program history. Off the back foot, perfectly placed.
Yeah, off the back foot, and she was reaching backwards. So, that's kind of the exception to the rule play right there. I mean, she's going to take it. It counts as a kill, that's for sure, but that's not ideally where you want to place that ball.
Lily Felts has continued to improve, it feels like, year after year. Over 4 years, she's playing better and at a higher level. As you take a look at some of those numbers, an all-SEC team picked from last season, 242 kills, 11 service aces. She's learned how to terminate the ball more, and the trust between her and Natalie continues to grow, and that's why she's butted into one of the best players in the SEC.
Yes, she is definitely going to get more kills this season, but she's also going to be that option when Natalie Hayward doesn't have anywhere else to go with the ball. Look for Lily Felts to get it, but Natalie Hayward might actually have some more options this year with all the back row attacks we've seen, not only from Brianna Runnels, but also Morgan Fingal. So, I mean, it's just fun talking about all these different hitters, and Lily Felts is still going to have her time to shine, but you could spread the love a little bit more this year.
You take a look at what Tennessee has to offer. You mentioned Fingal, you mentioned Felts. Well, oh yeah, Ava Bell in the middle, 7th in the SEC in terms of efficiency percentage. And then you add in the Colorado State transfer in Brianna Runnels, 6th year in college. She's calm and confident on the floor. She puts the ball down. She's used to being that top option on the floor. Now she has so much depth on this team. All the pressure isn't on her.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's already got 12 sets tonight. She's got 6 kills on the night, hitting .333. That's an extremely high percentage for an outside hitter that's also getting some looks from the back line.
Very experienced Tennessee group, and they're showing exactly that in their first match of the year. Near side set, off of the block. Very good job by Fingal and Mahaffey. Fingal again slices it through the middle, and it bounces off of the floor. 6 kills for Fingal as she joins Runnels for a match high.
Yeah, Maddie Bryant on Texas Tech's side was not able to get that block closed. She's working hard. They're picking on her a little bit too in the serve game. But Texas Tech was very much just out of system, and you saw Tennessee take full advantage.
A set that at one point was tied at 7. A 7-0 run from Tennessee, and right now it extends to a 14-5 sequence to take a commanding control in the first. Another high hand block, and O'Brien this time reacts to it and taps it to the ground.
Very nice reflex by Maddie O'Brien. She saw that that ball was going to come on their side of the net, so she went up one-handed and made sure that it landed on Tennessee's side. So good net awareness by her.
Remember, Texas Tech played earlier today against East Tennessee State. That was at 10 a.m. So this is their second match of the day. And oh yeah, they got to play at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Woo! I don't think Tony Greystone made that schedule.
Yeah, he didn't have much input either as Felts puts it out of play. They wanted a touch.
You might see a challenge come out of here because that definitely looked like there was some movement on the ball, but maybe not.
Coaches have a quick conversation, walk over to the scorer's table, but elect not to use one, as Texas Tech has scored back-to-back points. Outside, Felts smashes the block, goes out of play though, and Felts gets another one. That's her third.
Tennessee was in full-on system there. You saw Danielle Mahaffey working hard, calling for the set in the middle, and Natalie Hayward decided to go outside to Lily Felts. She did have a block in front of her, but she was able to expose it and use it.
Tennessee is plus 13 in kills, 18-5 right now. Just a dominating offensive effort. Plucked out of there by Bryant. Felts off of the block. Felts another one. And Tennessee soaring in the opening set of the year.
Yeah, Lily Felts now finding her groove. You've seen her get set a couple more times and not just keeping it in, but looking to terminate that ball, as Coach Rackham Watt said on our call earlier this week.
Fingal again to serve, the left-hander. Very good serve and a sliding stop by Correa. off of the net, and good reaction from Feltz. Fingal will get a chance from the back row. It hits the net, and a combo block there from O'Brien and Sanders.
Yeah, it looked like it was a great option. I mean, Natalie Hayward made a good decision. Morgan Fingal just catching the tape, and Texas Tech doing a nice job of tracking that ball and making sure there was a block in front of Fingal.
So now Maddie O'Brien, the sophomore from Katy, Texas, serves with an 8-point deficit and puts it out of play, and that gets us to set point here in the first as Tennessee matches its largest lead of the day at 9. Fans rise to their feet here at Thompson Bowling Arena. Kirby goes near side. Sanders has it stuffed. Carrington Jones handles, then Sanders again. Hayward picks out Runnels. Overpass. And a net violation on Texas Tech. And that wraps up the opening set. Tennessee wraps it up on an 18-8 run to take set number 1 of 2021, 25-15. See if the Lady Vols can keep it rolling when we come back. As Lady Vols take the first set, 25-15. Back with Heather Harrington, Michael Wattrang. Glad you're with us this evening. And Eve Rackham-Watt said this is the most firepower she's had. Well, if the first set is any indication, she is spot on and may have undersold it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. At Tennessee, you know, Well,
think about this. Tennessee made 7 attack errors. That was nearly half of Texas Tech's points. So if Tennessee doesn't make some miscues, Tennessee really dominates that opening set.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's smart to point out because there were a couple of interesting decisions that some Tennessee hitters made, but for the most part, I think those are errors that they can easily get rid of.
So here we start the second set. Natalie Hayward will start us off, and let's see if Texas Tech can find that rhythm that they had earlier today against ETSU. Kirby to the middle, and it goes out of bounds, so an ominous start here in the second set. And if you're Texas Tech, after that opening set, you're on the road, you traveled to a different time zone. How do you try to reset yourself after that opening frame?
Yeah, you know, we take it for granted because we're old, but these girls are young. They're going to adapt pretty early, and it's all about, though, they've got to have better passing. You know, Tennessee is serving them tough, and that's what Texas Tech has to pick up.
Fingal providing that option on the outside. That is kill number 7 for her. She and Runnels have 7 apiece.
And almost identical attempts as well. 13 for Runnels and 12 for Fingal.
Super important to have that balance as it goes across the floor. Hayward tried to pick out Bell in the middle, and Bell put it into the net.
That was a good idea. Ava Bell just wasn't really square. She was tracking that ball coming from the 10-foot line and found the top of the tape. So this is an opportunity for Texas Tech to try and get Tennessee out of system.
Correa serves. Hayward, Runnels, pulverizes another ball.
It was actually a really good block set up by Texas Tech with Samantha Sanders and Maddie O'Brien. But, I mean, Fingal, she's just got way too much power. Her vertical is so high right now, and you can tell these legs are fresh starting off the season.
Challenging serve, but Kirby will pick out Sanders. Well handled in the back from Runnels. Feltz. Roll shot to the back row. To the middle, Bell. A little off timing, second time in this sequence where she's been just a little bit off.
Yeah, Natalie Hayward and Ava Bell, they are a little bit off. They haven't quite had that just seamless transition. It's good that she is going to the middle and Natalie Hayward is choosing to set her middles. Now Ava Bell is just going to have to do something with it.
3-2 start for the Lady Vols. Outside set, Feltz with a nice tap. Just perfectly places it over the net. Feltz gets another kill, number 5 for her.
She sure is savvy. You know, she saw a big block in front of her. Maddie O'Brien had worked really hard to close that block, and she did a really nice job of going up and over it. And I said Maddie O'Brien, but that was actually Carrington Jones, who was very athletic, best blocker on Texas Tech's team.
Sanders hits it off of the block, and this one will ricochet off of Fingal's hands out of play.
Great big swing by Sanders. You saw Fingal didn't really have her arms penetrated over the tape of the net, so Sanders gets the point in that situation.
Good start for Texas Tech again here to begin a set. They play the full 25 points. Near side, Fingal. Look at the left hand muscle from Fingal to get another one.
Man, she went up so powerful. Watch this big-time approach. She's well behind the 10-foot line, full approach, no block in front of her, and she's able to slam it down.
Pass comes for Kirby. Sanders, another swing. She gets another chance. Feltz over the block. They get a touch this time from the Red Raiders, and Feltz gets a kill. 6-3, Tennessee on top here in the second.
When you're looking at it, we highlighted Samantha Sanders and Lily Feltz in the open today. 12 attempts for Lily Feltz, 13 for Sanders, so we knew they were going to get the bulk of the workload.
Service error, third one for Tennessee in the match. Can Texas Tech find some of that offensive rhythm that they had against ETSU as they hit just shy of 300 against the Buccaneers? Good pass from Runnels as he squatted deep, and then Mahaffey takes advantage by punching it through the block.
That's the first slide set that she has run tonight, that quick off of one leg behind the setter. Danielle Mahaffey did a really nice job of running those in the spring semester. So I think as Tennessee, works with Natalie Hayward on the front row, you're going to see more of that set.
Joust at the middle, Kirby wins it. Overpass, swatted to the ground by Hayward as she gets her second kill of the night.
Great net awareness by Natalie Hayward. She had kind of turned and she wasn't quite square to the net, and she quickly recovered to make sure she got up there and got her kill.
Well, you mentioned the fact that they ran that slide. I feel like they've put out all of their arsenal in this match, and they're so balanced with what they're doing up front.
Yeah, and you can tell they're running tempo. They're running in front of the setter, quicks with the middle. They're running behind the setter now, quicks in the middle, and setting so many players on the back row. I mean, they're really working it.
There's another one from Fingal, but plucked out. And this time it hits the deck on the swing from Reagan Cooper.
Nice job by Cooper. She kind of caught Lily Feltz a little bit back on her heels. She did try to dive and get that ball back, but nice kill for Texas Tech.
KJ Adams to serve, the graduate transfer. She's a graphic designer, and some of the t-shirts that she designs are being sold in local shops in Lubbock.
Very nice. Love these name, image, likeness. What a joust there.
Hayward wins it, knocking the Red Raider to the surface.
That was Maddie O'Brien getting the brunt of that frustration from Natalie Hayward. Hayward just went up and dominated. You can see how strong she is.
Time in the weight room, even though she wasn't fully square to the net, was able to use some of that twerk to get there. Back row attack, Sanders gets another chance. Outside, Runnels! Absolute flamethrower to the ground.
That was a great job by not only the defense for Tennessee. Natalie Hayward had a lot of hitting options. She decides to go with a quicker set to the outside, and Runnels just takes full advantage of the solo block in front of her.
Kirby has to race over to the corner to get it, then Sanders to the back row. Fingal from the back row. Look at that rejection. Cooper and O'Brien combined.
Yeah, Maddie O'Brien getting a little bit of juice back from that joust that she lost earlier. Look at her able to close that swing block. Actually, that was a solo when you look at it. That was totally solo on the outside. Nice job by Reagan Cooper.
To the middle, blocked. Then sent over, but KJ Adams was there to recover it. Out of bounds on the swing from the far sideline. Misfire from Caitlin Dugan, who led the team with 11 kills against East Tennessee State in the opener earlier today. She had 588, but hasn't quite found her rhythm in this match as she's made a couple attack errors without a kill so far. Hayward serves, very shallow. Right side swing. Feltz handles into the net. Hayward can't pluck it. Texas Tech crawls back within 4.
It's a nice job by Texas Tech. They're getting more people involved right now in the offense. They're passing better, and that's putting a little bit of pressure on this Tennessee team who's had a couple of defensive situations where they haven't been able to come up with a good pass.
Correa's serve hooks out of bounds. And a misfire from the Red Raiders. Tennessee's lead swells to 5. Runnels, a 4-time All-Mountain West selection, serves. Tennessee with a rejection. Adams will go right back to that right side. Dugan, this time, is able to get her first blast of the night. A little bit out of system, but a good put away to make it a 4-point second set after Tennessee won the first 25-15, running away with it, winning 18 of the final 26 points of the opening stanza.
That was a nice job by Caitlin Dugan, who's still trying to dig her way out of a negative hitting percentage right now. She's hitting .077 currently. She's had 13 attempts, including those 2 back-to-back, but just the 1 kill, as you noted.
Let's see if Texas Tech can find a little bit of a run. Very challenging serve. Feltz puts the perfect pace on the ball right into the middle. She's had a couple times today, which is pure craftiness from the senior.
Yeah, she absolutely has, and it wasn't a great pass. Natalie Hayward had very limited options, and Lily Feltz knew she had a block in front of her, and she was able to just use touch. That's that senior experience in her volleyball IQ coming through right there.
Kill number 7 for Feltz. 6 digs as well for her so far. To the middle. Great effort by Runnels to keep it alive. Then Mahaffey does take a swing at it. Sanders, left-hand touch. Hayward, backside, Fingal. Correa. Free ball to the middle. Let's see if Tennessee takes advantage. Fingal pulverizes it to the ground right down the line.
Man, Tennessee taking full advantage of that free ball opportunity right there. And again, Morgan Fingal's athleticism, I can't help but just gawk at it. Look at how high she gets. That was a little bit of a quicker tempo, and she was able to just absolutely terminate it.
9 kills for Fingal. Off of the block, out of bounds, and a point to Texas Tech at 14-9 here in the second set, with Tennessee ahead 1-0 as they've stretched their consecutive streak in the Tennessee Classic to 18 sets in a row. Last time they dropped a set in the Tennessee Classic, 2018, the opener against Michigan State, set number 2 against the top 25 Spartan Club. To the middle, off of the block. This comes near sideline. Picked out Runnels. Fingal. Adams slides to it. Kirby tried to jump up. Couldn't keep it in play. Mahaffey puts it away. And Tennessee swells the lead to 6. Lady Vols in control in the second. Already ahead 1-0. Stick with us. Pretty impressively so far, leading at 1-0 and in control by 6 here in the second. This is a team that is highly experienced, returning every starter from a year ago. Coach Rackham-Watt said that they're much further along than they normally would be after beating 3 ranked teams a year ago.
Yeah, and that's really good because Coach Rackham-Watt also thought that this was a tournament team last year had the NCAA not reduced the field because of COVID-19 protocols. We'll see. I think they're going to have their opportunity to make it back to the tournament.
And a team that plays a very challenging schedule this season. Backside set, Mahaffey running that slide. Good job by Adams to handle that powerful hack. Back row attack, Runnels off of the block. Boy, so impressive what Tennessee's doing right now. And it's so difficult for Texas Tech to sit on one hitter because there's so many options.
And I don't know if it comes across on the television, so I'm just going to describe it. This is a tempo set on the back row. That isn't just a, oh, we can't do anything with it. Here, please take a swing at it. That was a planned play. That's incredible.
That ball goes out of bounds, no touch. Fingal was jumping after it, but one of the rare times this year, maybe the only time in her career you can say that she didn't jump high enough to touch it.
I love that. I love that because, like I said earlier, I am just in awe every time she's hitting on that right side right now.
Looks like Texas Tech is going to use a challenge here to see if that ball indeed was touched by any Tennessee player out of the middle. And this is a Texas Tech program that's looking to get back to the dance for the first time since 2001. They haven't won an NCAA game since 1995. So a program that's trying to find their step here in Tony Greystone's 6th season.
Yeah, and they're also still looking for their person that they can trust in some of those big moments. Is it somebody on the serve-receive line? Is it somebody to come in and get a big kill? That's what they're searching for, and that was one of the objectives Tony Greystone had coming into this tournament.
So we have a challenge here and gives us an opportunity to refresh your memory on some of those rules. What can be challenged, what can't. Coaches have 3 challenges per match, no effects on the timeouts. Right now we're utilizing that contacting a player on the ball ruled in, out / contacting a player, but you can also use net fault by a player, service foot fault, or 3-meter attack line foot fault. And the goal, as with any sport, you're just trying to get the call right on the court or on the field.
Yeah, we also have to give a shout out to our camera crew because that's what they use in order to determine if a challenge should be overruled or not. So all these amazing shots, the referees now have to look at.
Yeah, they do such a wonderful job here. Have a great cast and crew here for this one. We saw that net angle. It doesn't really look like maybe Hayward touches it. I do almost wonder, did Fingal maybe get it here at the end as she jumped up? It almost looks like the ball might change a little bit of its path after Fingal's left hand might have grazed it, but that's a very unprofessional opinion. And my point, I don't have anything to do with the challenge calls. That's just maybe what I saw.
I know if she did touch it, it grazed like the end of her fingertips. You can kind of detect a slight change in rotation on the ball, but this one's hard. So the line judge, or the replay judge, they've got their work cut out for them.
So they do call the touch. After the review, they sense that there was one, and I do believe that it was that second Lady Vol through Fingal with that left hand that just got a slight ricochet that changed the ball off. So my assessment that Fingal didn't jump high enough. In fact, she did jump high enough, as she typically does.
That's like correction and noted. Yeah.
So instead it's 16-10. Tennessee on top. They've basically led for the duration of this match as Samantha Sanders, the all-conference selection, serves. Rare times Tennessee hasn't really been in system, but it doesn't matter. Great hustle by Hayward. She makes the play, and Fingal from the back row with that added element puts it on the surface.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a tricky serve receive that Tennessee just had there, but with the offensive weapons that Natalie Hayward is getting basically spoiled with right now, she's got a lot of different options to go to.
Sanders rolls it very shallow. Phelps bangs into Fingal. Runnels out of bounds. Tennessee wants a touch. They might use a challenge here.
I'm pretty sure I even heard that touch on the ball, so it looks like the officials are going to have the opportunity to look at it again.
So they indeed are going to take another look at this one. Coach Eve Rackamwatt was right after it. As soon as that ball hit the ground and the flag went up without a touch, they said that it was. So we get back-to-back challenges here in the span of a few moments. One from each side that'll look this thing over to see if indeed Texas Tech did get a piece of it.
They're looking at it frame by frame. And for Tennessee right now, even if this kill is not, say it doesn't count, right? They're still hitting 338 for the match, and for this current set, over 350, so 357. So that's really big for Tennessee. We've talked about just what they're shooting for and as far as winning, and it looks like they're going to come out to the good here.
They do reverse the call. Yet again, they go over it as the swing there from Runnels. And looks like maybe right there at the top, Alex Kirby, the Knoxville native, that got a piece of it. Felts floats it to the back row. Kirby sets it up, and a good running slide from Carrington Jones, the senior from Little Elm, Texas, puts it on the ground.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Carrington Jones. She was calling for the ball. She hasn't run behind the setter really at all so far in the match, so kind of adding a new wrinkle to her offensive skill set right now.
Felts on the pass, and a 7-point lead in a back row attack from Fingal. Near side set, off of the block, plucked out of there. Great diving play from Felts. Does this ball have enough? It does not, as Bryant backpedaling, trying to get it over, couldn't do so from the libero.
Nice job by Reagan Cooper. You know, she was tracking it. She's like, well, I'm supposed to get back in my hitting stance. This looks like it's going to be a free ball over, and she took a couple steps towards the net just to make sure that that ball was, in fact, going to fall on Tennessee's side.
Jump floating serve, Felts passes. Swatted to the ground. Look at Hayward climbing the ladder, and she has 3 kills in the match.
Yeah, Reagan Cooper was ready for that. Maddie Bryant got caught on her heels right there. Wasn't anticipating that Natalie Hayward was going to attack that ball, so she's just going to have a little bit more awareness of when Natalie Hayward is on the front row.
Gianna Pelizon will serve, the senior from San Clemente, California. Slide serve and Fingal this time. I think she was leaning left, came back to her right, couldn't get a piece of it, couldn't get enough of a piece of it to get it into the air.
Nice job by Texas Tech. I mean, they're being really gritty right now. They're taking some big swings. They're running behind the setter. They're really using and utilizing that right side. So they're doing a nice job trying to disrupt what Tennessee's doing.
19-13, Vols on top. Had 1-0. Across the floor, Runnels puts it out of bounds.
Very tough serve by number 13, Alex Kirby, the setter. You know, when Coach Tony Greystone was talking about Alex, he said she's a total technician and I trust her completely. So I thought those were some big words from the head coach to the setter.
Runnels will have to set this one up. Fingal will step forward. She makes the miscue as she tried to set it over, so a ball handling error. Texas Tech, just like that, they're only within 4 here in the second set.
And you see Alex Kirby picking on Lily Felts, which is interesting because both of them went to high school in this area, so they've been competitive with each other for a while, both playing out at K2 at their volleyball club.
Fingal this time doesn't make any mistakes as she has the more natural swing with the left hand.
You saw Tennessee just adjust the serve-receive rotation, kind of shelter Lily Felts. She didn't have as much ground at that last serve, and so they were able to finally get the service reversed.
Natalie Hayward serves. 5-point lead as Hayward picks this up. Bryant will come outside. Fingal had a long way to go as that ball didn't get all the way out towards the pin. Now Dugan. Hayward. Runnels off of the block. Couple ricochets into the ground.
Nice job by Runnels. 12th kill on the night. Absolutely just dominating on the outside and on the back row. Natalie Hayward puts that one in a perfect spot for Runnels to get the kill.
So Tennessee on top by 6 as Lady Vols have it on top by 6.
And even if they come up short in this particular match versus Tennessee, they turn right around tomorrow and play the Wolfpack of NC State. So it's kind of like that snap and clear mentality. Okay, you drop one, how are you going to respond?
6-point Tennessee lead as they look to go up 2-0. Back row attack from Sanders. Good strong hands from Hayward. Bodies bang into each other. Free ball sent over. Tennessee trying to get back in form. Good diving play from Hayward. Look at Felts. She's covering a lot of ground.
Covering some ground. Wow, she is fast.
She slides to the ground of the back row, and despite the hustle from Felts, who banged into a teammate, slid to the ground twice, Texas Tech gets the point.
Texas Tech gets the point. Great job by Texas Tech to use the middle. She went up and over the block with that very savvy hit. You can take a look at it. I mean, Tennessee obviously out of sync. You see Lily Felts kind of get up and shake her hitting hand really quickly. I don't think anything is wrong, but she definitely felt that. But Texas Tech, nice job going to the middle and just making it work.
So it's a 21-16 advantage for Tennessee here in this second set. Trying to close out the Red Raiders and go ahead 2-0. Overpass. Sanders takes advantage.
Nice job by Sanders. This is just great court awareness. She knew that ball was coming over. She's able to dip down and get a full arm swing and find the inside of the court.
She has 6 kills. The rest of the team has 9. Looking for a second option for the Red Raiders right now. Out of bounds on the serve is Correa. Too strong. Lady Vols inch closer to the end.
That was some really good serving by Maddie Correa up until the service error, but she's really putting it deep and keeping Tennessee backing up.
Runnels on serve. Kirby will go backside set into the block. Handled well by Feltz and Bell.
Caitlin Dugan, she tried to maneuver around that block. She just wasn't able to do really anything with the ball. That was a nice wall that Tennessee had in front of her.
Runnels serves to the back row. Overpass, punch to the ground. Feltz contributes again, and set point in the second.
Runnels serving for set point.
Sanders. Hayward on the overpass. Sanders mishits it, and Tennessee takes the second. 25-17, and the Lady Vols in control. Under Eve Rackham-Watt, the Lady Vols are 38-4 when winning the second. They try to close it out when we come back to Knoxville. Lead on Texas Tech in the 6th all-time meeting between these two programs, and what a debut for Brianna Runnels, the 4-time All-Mountain West selection.
Scheduled together. Look at that competition. Now, you're getting the defending champs of the Kentucky Wildcats whenever their SEC play rolls around, but to put Baylor and Pitt and Purdue on the schedule, that's really brave, but it also shows Coach Watt, they've got a lot of confidence in this Tennessee squad.
She said if we want to go in the directions that we say that we do, you have to play top 10 teams, and they're doing just that in a schedule that may be a little more difficult than they anticipated, but a good start 2 sets through this season. Hayward to the middle. Look at Bell, kind of a hook shot over diving play from Adams.
Nice free ball opportunity.
It's Runnels, another chance. She keeps it in play. Deep corner for another smash.
Maddie O'Brien working really hard on that Texas Tech defensive side of the ball. She was able to close the block, but it just wasn't enough because Runnels is so dynamic right now. Look at her just take advantage, go up and over.
Let's put this into perspective. Runnels, 13 kills. Texas Tech as a team, 15. A block. Fingal and Bell combined for a rejection. Number 5 for the Lady Vols.
Nice big wall in front of Sanders there. She knew it, so she just tried to power that ball through, and unfortunately it landed on her side of the net.
Jump floating serve from Hayward. Back row attack. Bryant will set it up. Fingal tight to the tape, had the touch with the off speed. Sanders slides it over to Hayward. Bryant will set up Runnels this time around, and it finds a vacant surface, and a sliding attempt from Keita Sauer hits the ground.
Tennessee a little bit kind of off balance there, as you saw there weren't great passes to the setter, but they were still able to get those attempts out of it and ended up finding a way to score.
A misfire on the service line from Tennessee. Hayward puts it in the net, but Tennessee has made a lot of changes in the service game. Very challenging serve today, and a big reason why Texas Tech is hitting 086.
Yeah, Natalie Hayward, she's got that nice little floater when she keeps it in, and it really could keep another team off balance.
Everything working right now for Runnels, just a flick of the wrist across the floor and a little assistance from the tape.
You talk about a killer debut. Now 25 sets, and 15 kills on the night. I mean, for an outside hitter to hit 500, that's just incredible.
Feltz smashes it to the ground. 5-1 start in the third for Tennessee.
Tennessee coming out with guns blazing right off the bat. I mean, this is a great start for them. They got to feel a lot of confidence right here.
And a lot of options playing their part. To the middle. Runnels can't handle that swing from O'Brien in the middle. And the sophomore puts one to the ground.
It was a nice job. She hasn't had a ton of success getting kills tonight, but she has been one of their players that they've looked for frequently. 8 attempts with 4 kills.
Jump floating serve to the middle. Bell sends it on the ground. 4th kill of the match for Ava Bell.
And remember, it took her and Natalie Hayward a little bit of time to get their chemistry really ironed out. Well, right now, it looks like it's pretty ironed out. She comes from behind the setter's left shoulder and is able to get that quick set kill.
Very shallow serve as it comes near side and the tip from Sauer. Fingal. Near side set again, Sauer. Phelps. Wow, look at all the bodies on the right side of the floor, and Phelps has been flawless in those decisions.
She really has. When she gets pushed out, really outside of the sideline, she does make some nice decisions. And I think that's just her experience level. Basically starting as a freshman.
And a senior from Knoxville. This ball goes out of play. And a 7-3 Tennessee lead. Thanks for tuning in for this broadcast with our great crew, Heather Harrington and Michael Watring, joining you for this contest. And a 4-point lead. Once upon a time, it was 7-7 in the first. But Tennessee has taken advantage of some great pin hitting in this one. Mahaffey, perfect redirect. Correa couldn't find the right space and hits the ground harmlessly again in the back.
A couple of the last kills going to the middles, giving those middle blockers some love for getting up in transition. You had Ava Bell with the kill just a minute ago, followed by Danielle Mahaffey finding just the inside of the court with some nice touch.
Well, 6 players right now have 3 or more kills for Tennessee. They're spreading the wealth. Fingal can't handle this pass as it goes out of play. Well, if Texas Tech is going to extend this one, they need to get on a run here right now, being doubled up in the third.
And you know, you just kind of got to take it 1 point at a time. You got to go back to that service line and think, okay, I got to serve my zone, I got to get this in.
Pass over to the side, Hayward again. She has been great in the net. Shallow pass over. Backside set across the floor, Fingal. Tapped over by Runnels as she soared through the air. Phelps. This time Adams had it read right. Sanders into the block. Pings off of a couple bodies. Sanders slides back. Phelps off of the block. Punched at. Tapped over. And a whistle. And a net violation on Texas Tech and a point to the Lady Vols.
Looks like that was Reagan Cooper, who they actually moved from the outside over there to the right side, trying to get a bigger blocker to kind of slow down Tennessee's hitting. That's a good decision. She just got caught up getting in the net.
Tennessee won 6 of its final 8 matches to end last year. A team that was starting to peak at the right time, and they've picked up where they left off. Mahaffey, a lot of poking at the net, and this time Madison Gilliland, the freshman from Coppell, Texas, puts it to the ground.
First time we've seen her tonight, and we'll see if she could be a little bit of a spark and come in off the bench and give Texas Tech something to work with here.
She had 7 kills in the 3-set win over East Tennessee State in their first match of the season earlier today.
And here comes Maddie O'Brien back in on the front row for her.
So it'll be KJ Adams to serve. Coach Greystone said that she has a great spirit about her, tends to keep everybody loose, and that's something that they need because as a team sometimes they can get too serious.
Also said she's got great leadership skills. She's still working on it, but it comes very naturally to her.
Transfer from Grand Canyon rescues that ball. Now a back row attack, Fingal off of the hands. Look at Kirby, a great play. Ball bounces off of Mahaffey and she finds the ground as O'Brien couldn't get it through the tough block. of Danielle Mahaffey, the senior from Cincinnati.
Watch Danielle Mahaffey track that absolutely perfectly. Maddie O'Brien trying to come over her shoulder. Also, Natalie Hayward didn't think Mahaffey was celebrating enough. She gave her the what's up little shrug, like, hey, this is fun.
And Tennessee is having fun, on top by 5 and ahead 2-0. Fingal out of bounds, couldn't snap the wrist in time to get that spin on it.
Yeah, she didn't get that follow through all the way down, but man, what a big, powerful swing. She'll clean that up. The set was just a tad bit short, and you know, it's early on in the season, first game of the year. She'll figure that out to keep it in.
Fingal taps it over the net, then punched over. Runnels again. Brianna Runnels. 16 kills on the day.
That was a really good job by Brianna Runnels because she was off balance. Her shoulders were not square to the net, and she cut that ball so sharp cross court, hit right around the 10-foot line on that tee on the floor.
Natalie Hayward serves. 11-6 Tennessee in the third. O'Brien. Bryant was able to get to it, but this will hit the lead official, and a point for Texas Tech. Within 4 in the third, but it just feels like they haven't had that burst to get back into a match. Now a Sanders in the back row as she goes to serve. Who provides that offensive pop?
Yeah, I think that's a great question that you just asked there. At Texas Tech, they got to give themselves a little bit more of an opportunity with the serve, but we'll see what Kenna Sauer is able to do. She knows how good this Tennessee team is, coming from Missouri and played a good amount in previous years, but she's basically their big weapon right now on that outside.
Kirby. Sauer put it through the block, then Feltz. Good ball in the middle. O'Brien takes advantage and once again sneaks the Red Raiders within 4.
It was a really nice job. You know, Tennessee was even cheating on the block. They knew that Maddie Bryan wasn't going to run behind and hit from that right side, so they were cheating over, and Maddie O'Brien was still able to find some space and get that kill. Nice job in transition by her.
First time these programs have met since 1991. Texas Tech leads it 3-2, but Tennessee on their way to tying it up. Fingal out of bounds.
Rare back-to-back hitting errors for Morgan Fingal. I guess, well, she had the tip in there that broke up the 2 hitting errors, but just a little uncharacteristic at this point.
Fingal, 11 kills on the day. Her efficiency has dipped below 300. This time, she takes advantage. So Hayward senses that maybe Fingal is starting to get in her own head, maybe a little bit of a slump there. Give it ball right back, and she puts it to the ground.
Yeah, I like what Natalie Hayward does. She shows a lot of trust. Ava Bell back in set number 1, she had a couple of hitting errors, and Natalie Hayward went right back to her. She wants to instill confidence in her hitters.
Bryant after a very shallow serve. Back row attack, Runnels. Overpass and a chance, Mahaffey!
What an incredible spectacle of athleticism from not only Brianna Runnels, who just had a killer dagger of a kill, and Texas Tech played nice defense, but Danielle Mahaffey going straight up and killing that ball, just incredible.
14-9, Tennessee on top, looking to pull away in the third. Kirby, near side set, around the block. Hayward, Feltz with a tap, good diving play by Correa. Gilliland, Fingal leaps to the ground, terminates it off of the body of Alexandra Torres.
Kenna Sauer was the only blocker that was in the vicinity to try and slow down Morgan Fingal, but she missed it completely, and Fingal gets the kill.
Tennessee inching closer to a sweep. Can they finish it off? We find out when we come back to Knoxville. Tennessee leads 2-0 and is led by 6 in the third, and Tony Greystone made a recruiting promise to Alex Kirby, the senior from nearby Hardin Valley Academy, that they would come back and play here. the 2016 All-State selection, who played high school volleyball at Hardin Valley Academy about 20 minutes away from here. And she is setting it up for Texas Tech this year, one of the top setters in the Big 12.
There's also a good chunk of 2 rows of red here in the stands, and you got to think they are all related, friends and family of Alex Kirby.
Good block from Tennessee. Fingal and Mahaffey put it to the ground, and Texas Tech expected maybe a couple dozen bodies here that would support this club because of Alex Kirby and the very close proximity from her high school and where she grew up. It's interesting, too. She grew up wanting to play for Pat Summitt at Tennessee. She wanted to play basketball as this ball is put to the ground by Kenna Sauer. The only reason why she played volleyball, purely coincidental. Her sister was playing on a club team, wanted her to join in for that, and said, yeah, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And everything built from there. And instead of getting an opportunity to play basketball on this floor, she's playing volleyball here at Pat Summitt Court.
Yeah, still playing on Pat Summitt's court and in Thompson Bowling Arena where Pat roamed these sidelines. And she never had to put up with the stare either, so that might be good.
That's true. That's true. Kirby got a piece of that one, but eventually it hits the ground, and Tennessee's lead has expanded to 7 here in the third set. A big 18-8 run closed out the first for Tennessee, and they have not looked back since. And a timeout from Tony Greystone.
When you look at some of these big numbers, Michael, look at Tennessee's hitting percentage right now in this current set, hitting almost 400 at 393. And right now, Texas Tech only hitting 115. There's your differential. That's why Tennessee's having so much success and kind of running away with this match.
And it's a Tennessee team that continues to rise, whereas Texas Tech on the other side, 7th picked in the preseason poll. Whenever you have Texas at the top, you basically can slot them in number 1 every single year, and then it's a battle for second place.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and we'll see what is able to happen. And, you know, Tony Greystone, he's in his 6th season. They want to get this lineup ironed out, but Texas is definitely the cream of the crop. Also, Baylor with a very nice team.
Tennessee will see Baylor next weekend, a team that's picked in the preseason top 10. On the other side for Tennessee, they're picked in the preseason SEC poll number 4 in the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky, Florida, LSU, the top 3. And Coach Eve Rackham-Watt said that has a lot to do with where this program has come. Her first season projected 10th. Now they're all the way up to preseason number 4.
Yeah, so they're basically at the top of Tier 2 right now. How do you get to Tier 1? How do you get to the sustained success that Florida has enjoyed for the better part of 30 years? And Kentucky, with the hardware right now, defending national champs, the margin of error, you know this, Michael, it just shrinks, and you gotta be able to get kills out of bad passed balls. You gotta be able to serve tough, and that's what Eve Rackham just keeps, preaching to her squad.
It's a deep team. You take a look at the progression that they have had over the last few years. The practices alone, Coach Eve Rackham-Watt talked about. The B side, quote unquote, is beating the A side 2 or 3 times every single practice because of how much talent is on that side of the court.
And I can tell you, as one of those former B team players, whenever you can beat the A's, you definitely smile a little bit brighter in the locker room.
You soak that in, that's for sure, and make sure that the A side hears about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's going to make you better. You know, when you're playing against great competition in practice every single day, it just makes you tougher, gives you more of a mental edge.
Feltz with a kill. She has career double-double. Number 18 has tied Jenna Berg for number 10 on Tennessee's all-time list in terms of career history. So number 18 for Feltz. 11 digs, 11 kills.
What a serve from Fingal.
She gets the free ball here. Hayward off of 1 foot. Back row, Runnels. Set comes to the near side. Spike to the surface. Look at Sauer elevating in that thunderous right arm, hammers it.
Yeah, she really didn't even take a full traditional swing. She went up there to tip the ball. It just absolutely ended up driving it down into the court. Nice savvy play by a savvy hitter.
Now she serves. And a good serve. Fingal from the back row. Backpedaling to Pluckett O'Brien. Right-handed swing down the right side and just outside of the reach of Runnels.
Nice job by Reagan Cooper to get that kill on the right side. So Texas Tech cooking with a little gas right here. We'll see how far they can extend this.
6-point contest, and the service error, that does have a little bit of that feel. Every time Texas Tech creeps back into it, it's an attack error, a service error, some kind of miscue, unforced error that haven't allowed them to get back into it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to point that out, and it just kind of disrupts that mojo that you're working so hard to fight for right now.
Backside set. Feltz on the overpass and a chance. It's just punched over. And another chance. This time a sliding pancake. Brian thought she had it, but it just does hit the surface in front of her paw.
Great job by Reagan Cooper, too, on the other side for Texas Tech. I think she had like 3 kill attempts. She was really right up there on the block. So she's doing a nice job trying to fight for her team right now.
Tennessee has not won the season opener since 2018. Granted, they played number 6 Illinois and number 3 UK, Kentucky, the last 2 seasons. So tough matches the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. That's some stiff competition.
Roll shot over. Good play by Feltz. Runnels taps it. Blocked by Tennessee. Mahaffey and Runnels combine for the rejection.
Nice job by Danielle Mahaffey to get over there, make sure that block was closed. Brianna Runnels, she set it in a great spot, and Reagan Cooper, she just didn't have many options of where she could go with that wall in front of her.
Tennessee with a very workmanlike effort. Fingal got a piece. That ball hit the net so hard it goes over the top of Bell's hands as it goes in for a kill for Texas Tech.
And I know coaches practice that. They throw the balls in the net, and you're supposed to be down so that you can dig it out. Sometimes it's literally just luck, especially when you're in transition. So Ava Bell was there. She tried to make a play on it, but it just ended up on the floor.
Runnels picked out of there by Torres. Sanders off of the block. Fingal uses the forearms. Runnels tight, taps. Sanders off of the arms of Fingal and out of play. Sanders gets another kill. She has 7. Cooper has 6. They are starting to find a little more balance.
Yep.
The problem is maybe a little too late.
I think that's exactly what the problem is. You can find them kind of settling in a rhythm. I think Tony Greystone made a nice decision when he put Cooper over there on the right side and brought in Kenna Sauer, and Sanders is finding some nice rhythm whenever there's a good pass.
Tight to the tape. Runnels into the block. O'Brien combining on the outside with Reese Rhodes.
How about Reese Rhodes coming off the bench, kind of the first time that we've seen her tonight, getting super fired up. I like that feistiness from her.
The sophomore from Waco, Texas, the niece of former World Series champion Arthur Rhodes. And a service ace, and look at Texas Tech. They've crawled back within 3.
Back-to-back big momentum points, too. As you saw that, Michael, you see Coach Rackham Watt want to take a timeout, kind of settle everything down, but those were 2 big momentum plays for the Red Raiders.
Well, Texas Tech had a total of 15 kills in the first 2 sets. They have 11 here in the third. They're hitting 184. Nobody crowns a champion after the first 2 sets of the season. So what's happening in the third set right now for Texas Tech? They're starting to build that momentum, and it all started with this rejection on the right side.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Runnels goes up for a nice swing, but Texas Tech says no thank you. Reese Rhodes, she had the nice setup on the block, and they're cooking with just a little bit of mojo right now. We'll see what they can do from the service line, but those were, like I said, 2 big momentum plays back-to-back. If they're going to get something started, it's going to start right now.
Well, that hits that team motto that you mentioned earlier this season. Are we going to be victims or are we going to be victors? And a team that lost the first 2 sets fairly handily, 15-17. Now here in the third, being down by as many as 8 or 9 points, you're right back within 3 and finding that mentality that you want to preach.
Yeah, it's all about establishing pride, establishing who those go-to players are. Tony Greystone said he didn't come in with a set lineup. They were going to try some different things this weekend at the Tennessee Classic, and things right now are working out for him.
Backside set Fingal off of the block and finds the ground. So good answer out of the timeout from Fingal, who has her 15th kill.
Texas Tech just hasn't been able to come up with a consistent block, a consistent answer for the variety of sets that they are seeing. They're seeing quicks on the back row. They're seeing the pins attacked on both sides. It's just very tough to defend.
Near side set off of the block. Now backside, Fingal off of the hands of Torres, and Fingal has her 16th kill.
Nice little back-to-back action there. So, yeah, it's been 30 seconds. I'll take 2 kills.
It ties Runnels for the team lead in this match.
Look at Natalie Hayward absolutely throw that ball back perfectly. There was a split in the block by Texas Tech, and that's going to be a point every single time from Morgan Fingal.
Just such great athleticism on that side. To be able to have that left hand on the right side, that is a complete game changer, because there's so few times as a high schooler you see a left-hander, especially with that power, to get used to that kind of spin and that kind of angle.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And then the fact that Natalie Hayward has full trust. Hey, I am across the court, but I can still throw this one back to you and know that we're going to get a kill. That's just a lot of offensive cohesion right there.
So Tennessee has a 5-point lead here in the third. A team that is looking for their first win over a Big 12 foe since 2012 when they beat Iowa State in 5 sets, lost 3 straight entering today. But they have been ultra impressive. 3 players in double figures in kills. Natalie Hayward has dished out 42 assists, adding 8 digs and 4 kills for her in this match. And when you look at Tennessee, it's a team that wants to take that next step. You mentioned it earlier, from going to maybe Tier 2 back into Tier 1 to get up to that Kentucky, Florida, LSU type level. The question is, can they get there? And with what we're seeing right now, they have that depth that could potentially be a team that can make a lot of noise in the postseason.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, too, they're trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. You know, this Tennessee team has not been since 2018, and Eve Reclamont was hired to consistently go to the NCAA tournament. It wasn't all her fault last year. Obviously, COVID shrunk the field, and they didn't have the full 64 teams, and she thought they really had a great chance at making a full field bracket, but that is
the field not been shrunk, they would have potentially made the field and maybe have made a little bit of a run the way that they were starting to play.
Hey, once you get in the bracket, you never know what's going to happen. It's all about matchups.
Sanders puts another one to the ground. That's number 8. She leads the team in the category. 35 swings, nearly double any of her teammates in this one.
Yeah, just unbelievable how many swings she has taken. They're definitely going to need some ice on that arm afterwards, but she is getting a lot of the workload, and that's what this Tennessee team is going to do. They're going to feed the outsides, whether it's the right or the left, consistently.
Feltz passes. Backside set, off of the block. Good left-handed play to keep it alive. That's great hustle from Mackenzie Morgan. Hayward, backside, Runnels, number 17 for the grad student out of Bakersfield, California.
I would say that's going to end up on a lot of opposing teams' film. You do not want to give Runnels just no block. You do not want to do that, because that is what is going to happen.
KJ Adams had no chance. And now an overpass. Bell keeps it in play, and it's match point time for Tennessee in the opener.
Way to be aggressive for Ava Bell. She keeps it, finds that deep corner and keeps it in.
So here comes Brianna Runnels with a chance to end this one. Runnels with a good pass. Fingal pounds it to the ground. Tennessee starts 2021 with a win.
And Brianna Runnels, she's jump serving, she's digging, she's hitting. What can she not do? What a debut.
Runnels 17 kills. She has a double-double in her Tennessee debut. Fingal